Hey everybody, it's Ashley Sturgis here. I am going to be bringing on a guest today. Melissa Means will be joining us, and we are going to discuss network marketing objections. So I am very excited to hear her perspective on objectives. I know that I have my own perspective on them, and we're just going to kind of have a chat about, hey Melissa, I see you. Hi Bob. Hey Larry. So I'm going to bring Melissa on if I can figure this out, because it's been kind of giving me troubles lately. So let's see. Oh, I think I did it. Maybe. Yay!
Hi.
Hi. It's always like a surprise now with Facebook Live. So never know.
It's totally true. You never know what you're going to get anymore.
I know. Well, thank you so much for coming on. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
Good. Do you want to just, most of our viewers know who we are, but do you want to just lightly touch on who you are just in case?
Yeah, sure. Thank
Okay.
you so much for having me on.
Of
I
course.
am Melissa Means, for those of you who don't know me. For those of you who watch my lives often, you're like, yeah, I know all about you, Melissa Means. But for those of you who don't, I am a mom of two boys. They are 5 and 7. We also have a blended family. So there are 4 kids. They are 5, 6, 7, and 8, meaning we are super busy, 3 of which are in baseball. Basically, I'm just a really busy mom who has fallen into understanding the value of network marketing, of residual income, of being able to create a substantial income from home while being fully present with my family, which is number one. So that's like the shortest version of Melissa Means that I think I've ever done, but hopefully that's good.
Yeah, we share a similar network, and it sometimes feels funny constantly repeating who you are, because you're feeling like, oh, people are like, yeah, shut up, we know who you are. But some people might be new, so there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to tackle objections today. Now that I've been in the industry for, a few months, several months, I am kind of losing touch with objections, because I just feel so used to this industry now that it's hard to empathize with objections when you're so used to it, because you just kind of don't see those anymore. And like you and I, we're making this our full-time career. So we're like, objections? Who would have an objection to this? This is awesome. But there are people who do, and I was in that boat, a few months ago, and I'm sure, I know you were too once upon a time. So let's just jump right into it. And I'm just going to be asking your perspective on a few of them that, we might hear often. Is that cool?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So the first one is, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to hunt my friends, and I'm not salesy. I can't do that. What's the deal with being salesy?
So I love that objection. And the reason I love that is because I don't want people to be salesy. We don't want people to be salesy. If you are salesy, you will make your friends and family run. That is the truth. Nobody likes to be sold to. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I get calls from telemarketers on the phone every day. And it's such a sales pitch, right? And it's such a big turnoff. And so a lot of people are thinking, okay, I understand network marketing. You need to sell a product, build a team, but I'm not salesy and I don't want to be salesy. If you look at the most successful people in this industry, you'll understand that they're not salesy people. They're real, they're authentic, they have mastered the ability of remaining who they actually are and building a business around that. And so if you already have friends and family who trust you, who value your opinion, you're not going to suddenly turn into this salesy robot when you start a network marketing business. At least I hope you wouldn't. You just share a product and you share your journey along the way and how it's helping you and how it's helping people that you know, as well as, touching on the business and how it's helping you financially. So We don't want you to be salesy. I'd much rather you be, and I'd prefer you to be authentic and genuine and true to who you are, because your friends and your family will see through any fake anyways. And so remaining authentic is very important in regards to building a successful business with this.
Yeah, and I want to kind of elaborate on this because we touched on remaining who you are. And I know for some people, when you jump into network marketing, all of a sudden you become very public. And so it might even appear like you're not remaining who you are, but that's just because you haven't been so public before. I mean, most of us aren't. Well, maybe some people are. I know I wasn't very public with Facebook before I started with network marketing. I didn't really like Facebook that much. And so I could see how it might be, confusing, or it might seem not authentic when somebody does join a network marketing company, because all of a sudden there they are and they're putting themselves out there. But, that's part of our growth. And so I really feel more confident being in front of people like this because I'm shy and I love being on these lives now. But people who know me, they might be looking at this thinking, whoa, what's Ashley drinking? What kind of Kool-Aid is she drinking? Because why is she on these Facebook lives and like posting on Facebook all of a sudden? But I love that. I love your perspective on the salesiness, because I could not sell a candy bar to like a kid. I can't sell anything. So thank you. And then what about, I saw Jenny post a question. Let me try to remember it. She said something about people will ask when you first get started with a company, like, well, how much money are you making? And then they want to like base their decision off of that. So what would we say to those people?
So that's fantastic. When you start a network marketing business, it's common for people to have a limited amount of time to work the business, right? That might be an hour or two a week. And so if somebody comes at you in the way of, well, how much are you making with this business? It's like, well, how much do you make at your business, at your job, at your 9 to 5, or whatever it may be? How much are you making at your job when you only work 2 hours a week? Then we can compare, and then it's fair. So in the beginning, yeah, people want to find a reason to kind of knock you down a little bit and disqualify themselves in the process, because then they have an excuse to get out of it, right? Even if it could potentially change their lives for the better, a lot of times people are looking for the flaw. So they're going to ask questions like that. And some people have a slower start in network marketing, and it is going to take time. It may take 3 months for them to start making significant money. It may take 6 months. It may take a year. But there are people who get into this business and hit it really hard and make a lot of money fast. I mean, I was one of those people who I made a large investment. It was just our largest pack. It's not a large investment into this business 16 months ago. And for me, it was like, hey, I'm going to make back all of my investment within my first month, because that's going to be my story. I want to prove that it's possible to myself, as well as share that with others. And so for me, I came into the business, I made back my full investment within the first month plus extra. So it can be done quickly. But when somebody asks that question, it's like, well, let's compare apples to apples here. How many hours, how much would you be paid if you were only working 2 hours a week? Because for a lot of people, this is a side hustle for them as the long-term picture of creating a form of residual income. And so it does have a slow start for some people. So that's how I would answer that.
Yeah, and this is a residual income, which I knew nothing of before. This is money that finds you when you're sleeping. How much money, I would like to say, how much money do you make at 12 o'clock at night when you're sleeping? And, I like that you said, let's compare apples to apples, because you need to think about this realistically. And I also like that you mentioned people try to disqualify themselves in finding the flaws because they're scared, they're fearful. And so that brings me to my next objection. I'm too afraid. I won't be good at that. So I'm just going to disqualify myself. It looks awesome. And this is my favorite one, because this is who I was for a long time watching you. And, I was just scared. I was scared of what people would think. And I just had a lot of fears that were kind of, now looking back, irrational. But to me at that time, they were very rational. I actually scared to do this. So what do you say to those people? Or I should say, what did you say to me back when I had those fears?
Well, for me, I've made a lot of decisions out of a place of having faith in my abilities and having faith in understanding that I'm making a business decision. I made these decisions off of educating myself and looking at the facts. So I knew that the facts were right. I knew that I had a 5-star opportunity because it was based on facts. Now, once that was in place and I understood, okay, this is what I have here. Now you have to decide, is it faith or is it fear that you're going to go with? And for me, it was, I have a much larger fear of staying stagnant in my life. I have a bigger fear of having regrets. I have a bigger fear of, spending the next 5 years of my life wishing, hoping, wanting for life to somehow change and get better. And, whether it's finances or happiness or relationships or whatever it may be, for me, it was a non-negotiable that action is required to change your life. And so a lot of people are fearful, which is understandable. I was fearful as well to launch a brand new business, totally fearful. But the way I looked at it is, okay, I can choose faith or I can choose fear. Fear is going to keep me stuck, stagnant, and playing small for how much longer? If I choose faith, it's going to force me to grow. It's going to force me to learn a new skill set. It's going to force me to surround myself with more positive, like-minded people who are running forward with their lives. Kind of a no-brainer. Even though I made a choice based on faith, there was still fear there. And fear is not a negative. I think fear is actually a positive. Where the negative and the positive come into place is, what do you do with the fear? That's the decision you need to make. And so for me, when I would sit back and watch people become really, really crazy successful in this industry, and I'd, silently cheer them on social media or befriend some of them, and I would be inspired by them and motivated by them, and I would sit there happy for them, but disqualifying myself based on, oh, well, I'm not this like that person, or I'm not that, or whatever it may be, until one day I had this light bulb moment that was like, you know what? Why not me? Why am I the one on this side of the screen watching them get to experience life in a way that I wish I could? Why am I going to sit here and play small? How much longer am I going to do this? And so for me, it was, I'm going to make a choice with fear, put it in my back pocket, and use it as a source of fuel to move my life forward instead of something that keeps me stuck and stagnant and repeating vicious cycles. So it really comes down to, are you more afraid of staying stuck with your current stresses situation, or are you more afraid of learning a new skill set and having an awesome community of people who are going to help you develop that in the process? It's just a question you have to decide. For me, it was very black and white. I removed the gray area when I was thinking of, what do I want for my life? And is the current path that I'm on going to help truly get me there? Or am I just fooling myself? And so it becomes very black and white when you look at, okay, this is what I want for my life, and I need to map out a plan that's going to help me achieve it. So that's my encouragement to you. If you're watching us, you're excited for us, happy for us, cheering us on, but you're disqualifying yourself, but maybe you're not totally happy with your life, you have to take dramatic action if you want change in your life. And guys, we all know time passes so quickly, and it feels as though the older we get, the faster it goes. Yes. And it's, especially once you have children, it's like hyperspeed. But, it's so easy to say, one day I'm going to make a change, or one day I'm going to get a new job. I'm going to, have a better boss. I'm going to, do all of these different things. But one day is never going to happen until you decide it's today. 5 years from now, you could very easily wake up living the exact same stresses if you don't take action now. So that's my encouragement when it comes to fear.
Thank you. And I love the way that you explain that, because, it does sound very simple when you say it out loud, But when you're trying to make a decision on something that's new, regardless of what that decision is, let's pretend it's not even network marketing, it's not even our company. When you're trying to make a decision off of something new, your brain, fogs your logical thinking and your critical thinking. And so to have somebody sort of, okay, relax, let's think about this rationally and then move forward. And I love that you say faith over fear, because we have to make decisions throughout our entire life that are going to propel us forward. And if we're constantly paralyzed by fear, we cannot move forward, period. And if you're okay with that, if you're genuinely happy where you are, perfect. I'm genuinely happy for you. But if you're not, like I wasn't, then do something about it. And you and I are kind of similar. We're nurturing and we love to help others, but we also tell it how it is. Like, listen, you're paralyzing yourself. So make a decision. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you. But, I'm only going to hold your hand for so long, and then you need to make the decision. And so I love working with you because I really resonate with you. And I love that we're able to put into perspective, our fears and what we went through joining this company when we did, so that others can see it kind of through our eyes. And so my very last one is, I don't have time. I'm so busy, which we all are, but listen, we all have the same 24 hours, 7 days a week. And so what do we say to those people who say, I just don't have time?
We get that a lot. And, we're all so busy, right? And so I don't discount the fact that people are really busy and they already feel like they have a lot on their plate and they're stressed and whatever it may be. But for me, and what I've seen throughout this industry and what I've seen, with the most successful people in the world is, it's not about not having enough time. It's about prioritizing the time you have. We all have the same 24 hours. And a lot of times people are feeling very busy because they're filling their day with busy work, but it's not always work that is producing something forward, right? Whether it's producing income or it's producing something that they need in their life. A lot of times it's just busy work, and it's a lot of chatter, a lot of noise, and they're not being very concise with how they spend their time. For me personally, when I decided to take this business seriously, I was thinking at the time, how am I going to do this? I'm so busy. I wasn't sleeping at the time. I had a toddler and an infant. And I'm like, how am I ever going to get on the level of some of these really successful people? And I had to realize these people who are really successful, who really want something more out of their life, they're not wasting their time on television. They're not wasting their time doing mindless activity. They're not wasting time. They're spending their time doing things that are going to propel them forward. So for me, it was, again, I had to take it back to getting black and white. It was, okay, what am I spending my time doing? I was watching about 2 hours of TV a day. I was scrolling on social media, Pinterest, all of that for more than an hour a day. And so at the end of the day, I had 3 hours a day to work a business I thought I had no time for. And this is very common for a lot of people. So you do actually have time. You just have to prioritize it and look at it for what it really is, genuinely. Take a note. I mean, go in your notes section of your phone and track how you spent your time. And you're going to see that there's a lot of time wasted. And another thought is, there are many people who are spending a significant amount of time in traffic on the road in Southern California or wherever you may be watching. A lot of people are spending 2 hours a day on the road. And so that's 2 hours a day that is being spent probably just listening to the radio, checking out mentally, and just getting home and trying to keep your sanity while in traffic. And, that's time right there that could be devoted to growing a business. We work our businesses from our phone. You could easily plug into a training by our mentor, who's a 7-figure earner. He's absolutely incredible. He has raised many very successful people in this industry. You could be spending your time on the road, listening to training, picking up your phone, making a few phone calls. And that's where you find time. And by the way, guys, this is the type of business that doesn't need to be done from a desk and, you know, in one time block. It's something that can be done in the cracks of your day. When I started, I had an infant who didn't sleep and a toddler who was really difficult about sleep as well. And so what I would do is I'd wake up an hour earlier in the morning. I'd plug away at my business then. I'd feel accomplished. I'd be showered, and then it was mom mode. And then when it was nap time, it was work again, mom mode once they were up. And then in the evening, I would go back to work for a little while. Now, if you're somebody who works a corporate job and you don't have those flexibilities, I would say tweak it a little bit. You can still wake up an hour earlier to devote it to your business. If you want it bad enough, you could work on your lunch break instead of chit-chatting on your lunch hour, or scrolling social media or watching Facebook Live. Or you could also, in the evening, you know, once the kids are asleep, if you have kids, plug away at this. And so there is time. You just have to decide whether you want it or not. And the black and white way of looking at things is either you can say, I don't have time, or you can try saying, you know what, it's just not a priority in my life. And
Yes.
I would say that's the more honest answer. So if you really do want change, whether it's in your finances, your happiness, just what you want to do with your life, you have to decide, is it a priority? Do you really, really want it? Do you really, really want your dreams and the vision you have for the long term to come to life? Because if you do, you'll take action. You'll take dramatic action instead of finding ways to make excuses. So
I love that. I love that. And also, you know, from a different perspective, because I am a stay-at-home mom and I hear, oh, well, you know, you have nap time to do that. It's like, okay, yes, you are right. But listen, I like to look at the positive. And if I was still teaching, I would be speaking with people all day long, you know, out and about. And this is a business where you're networking, you're sharing with individuals. It's a very people business, person-driven business, relationship-driven business. So consider how many relationships you have and how many people you speak to throughout your entire day. And, you know, Rick always says your network is your net worth. And it's true. You know, if you're a working, busy individual, chances are, you know, a lot of other busy, successful individuals who have other networks and so forth. And so to be able to capitalize on your network in order to make money now seems like a no-brainer. And that's why we like to educate those of you who are watching, because I really wish that I would have seen this education a long time ago. So that's what we're here to do. So Melissa, if you don't have anything else, we can go ahead and sign off and say goodbye, unless you want to share anything else.
I think one last thing as a reminder for people is a lot of people are going through life and they might be financially successful. They might be happy in their relationships. They might feel as though they're happy, but a lot of people have that missing piece where there's some sort of void in their life and they can't decide exactly what that is. And I know for me, it was purpose. I was not walking out my purpose. I was not using my gifts and my talents and my abilities to the fullest. And so if you're somebody who you're saying, well, I don't totally resonate with all of that because I am pretty happy in all these areas of my life. But if you have that void like I did, like you were meant for more, you're called for more, you were created on purpose, you know, for purpose. If you feel that like I did, then this might be the thing that changes that for you, because I feel as though this is my purpose, is helping people, teaching people to create freedom in their life financially, emotionally, mentally, physically. It's about creating happiness and helping others. So, you know, if this resonates with you guys, if you're in Ashley's network, shoot her a message. If you're mine, send me a message. We'd be happy to have a conversation with you guys, see if it's the right fit.
All right, guys. Well, Melissa, thank you so much. I will see you soon. And thank you, everybody, for popping on. I really appreciate the positive comments and the support. So thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
See ya.